Non-urgent A&E visits will cost more than double the current rate under the new public healthcare fees and subsidy reforms, which will take effect over 3 phases starting January 1st next year. Health authorities say the revamp will benefit an extra 1.1 million patients. And according to the latest proposal on the regulation of basic housing units, a window facing the patio will be considered as compliant if there is an entrance on the lowest level of the patio. Good evening. You are watching Cable News. I'm Evelyn Bai. The government laid out the details of the long-awaited reforms to the city's public healthcare services, with the charges of many non-urgent services seeing a sharp spike. However, patients will have their annual medical expenses capped at $10,000, with the government assuming the remaining costs. The reform will be rolled out in phases, starting next January. Xue Yun has the details.
In response to challenges in the public medical sector, the government has unveiled details of a fees and charges reform with the aim of establishing a sustainable healthcare system through cost-saving strategies. The fee for each accident and emergency services visit will increase from $180 to $400, but critical or urgent cases will be treated for free. Inpatient fees for acute general beds will rise to $300 per day, while those for convalescent rehabilitation, infirmary and psychiatric beds will go up to $200 per day. Regarding outpatient services, the general outpatient clinic will be charged $150 per visit. An additional $5 will be imposed per medication, with a maximum of 4 weeks supply per patient. Specialist outpatient fees will also increase to $250 per attendance, with an additional $20 charged per drug item, also capped at a 4-week supply. Meanwhile, the hospital authority will implement a per-item co-payment system, charging patients between $50 and $500 for advanced and highly complicated pathology and non-urgent imaging tests. While basic checkups like X-rays will remain free, ultrasound checkups will cost $50. CT scans and MRIs will be priced at $500. Additionally, public hospitals will introduce an annual fee cap, limiting each patient's yearly out-of-pocket public medical expenses to $10,000, excluding self-funded drugs and medical services. The cap is expected to ease the financial burden for approximately 70,000 patients with serious conditions. The first phase of the reform is scheduled to begin on January 1, 2026, with the government targeting a full implementation within the next 5 years. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Secretary for Health Lo Cheng-mao stressed that all additional income generated by the reform, estimated at $3 billion each year, will be reinvested into public healthcare services. Together with a more lenient eligibility criteria of a fee waiver mechanism, which is another significant change under the reform. The revamp is expected to benefit an extra 1.1 million patients starting next year. Xue Yun again tells us more.
The proposed public healthcare service reform will decrease subsidy rate from the current 97.6% to 90% within 5 years. Health Chief Lo Cheng-mao stressed that the government's commitment to supporting the healthcare needs of the public remain unchanged. He added that the reform is designed to allocate more resources to urgent and severe patients while reducing the wastage of medical resources. Hospital Authority Chief Executive Tony Ko explained that all extra revenue brought by the reform will be used to enhance support for patients with severe and urgent conditions. He said the city currently lacks assistance for patients with serious diseases such as cancer, leading to concerns about treatment expenses, which may deter them from seeking medical care. Under the proposed changes to better support patients from low-income families, the income limit of the fee waiver mechanism will be relaxed, and the asset limit will be raised to match the standards for public housing applications. The number of eligible patients for free treatment is expected to increase from the current 300,000 to a total of 1.4 million. Currently, the city's fee waiver mechanism for public healthcare covers underprivileged residents, including those receiving comprehensive social security assistance and those on the old age living allowance aged 75 or older. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The public medical charge overhaul has drawn divided public opinions, sparking debate over whether higher charges will ease overcrowding at public hospitals or penalize vulnerable groups. Kunting Yang has the story.
Under the reforms, payments for public medical services like emergency rooms and general outpatient clinics will rise by multiple times. Public anxiety is palpable. Subdivided flat resident Mr. Leung called the changes unaffordable. Others like Ms. Chen agree that they would turn to private clinics in non-emergency cases. As a safety net mechanism, an annual out-of-pocket cap of $10,000 is introduced to protect the vulnerable groups. But the Society for Community Organization argued this one-size-fits-all approach fails to protect lower middle-income families. So-called community organizer Tim Pan argued the measure does not match the government's aim to make high earners fund public services proportionally. He proposed a second threshold at $5,000 or $3,000, so as to provide targeted support for the sandwich class families. Meanwhile, DAB lawmaker Edward Leung defends the policy as critical to relieving overwhelmed hospitals. After the adjustments, public hospital patients and private doctors can be paired at a flat fee of $150 per visit. It's a good chance to boost participation in the chronic disease co-care scheme, he said. He also called on the authorities to extend nighttime services at the public clinics to further divert non-urgent cases from overwhelmed emergency wards. Kunting Yang, Cable News.
In other local news, the government announced the latest proposal for the regulation of basic housing units, considering the window facing the patio as compliant if there is an entrance on the lowest floor of the patio. While relaxing the window requirements, the requirements for an opening window glazing area of at least 0.1 square meter, a minimum floor area of 8 square meters, and a minimum ceiling height of 2.3 meters will remain unchanged. The government also proposes a 1-year registration period for subdivided flats and a grace period of 3 years after the expiry of the registration period. To encourage subdivided flat operators to register and complete their certification of their flats as soon as possible, consideration will be given to reducing the certification fee. For subdivided flats which have been registered but not yet certified, new tenancies will be prohibited half a year before the expiry of the grace period. Any outstanding tenancy will be deemed to have been terminated, and the operator will be required to compensate the tenant for the rent. Hong Kong's foreign trade performance brightened in February, with both exports and imports increasing year-on-year, despite the United States slapping tariffs on the mainland and Hong Kong last month. Data released by the Census and Statistics Department show that the values of the city's total exports of goods rocketed 15.4% year-on-year in February, beating market expectations of a 1.7% increase. The value of total imports also soared 11.8%. Total exports to Asia surged by 25%, with shipments to Vietnam soaring 114% and logging a 29.5% increase to the mainland. However, exports to the U.S. dropped around 18%. Looking ahead, a government spokesman said ongoing U.S. tariffs and the uncertainties surrounding protectionist policies will continue to pose challenges to the city's merchandise trade performance. But the sustained economic growth on the mainland is expected to render support to Hong Kong's exports. The annual Boao Forum for Asia opened in Hainan Province today, convening regional leaders to address economic fragmentation and climate action. Delivering a keynote address at the sub-forum, Chief Executive Zhang Li declared Hong Kong's commitment to bolstering global free trade and deepening ties with the mainland. Kunting Yang reports.
Speaking at the Global Free Trade Port Development Sub-Forum, Li positioned Hong Kong as a super connector and super value adder between China and the world, pledging to leverage its status as a global financial hub alongside Hainan's zero-tariff policies.
Hong Kong is proud to be a part of the Global Free Trade Zone Port Partnership Initiative, launched at this very forum 2 years ago. We will continue to join hands with our friends in Hainan in promoting the vast opportunities and benefits that free trade and market liberalization could bring to the world.
Upon arrival this morning, Li announced via social media that his delegation will sign a cooperation pact with Hainan during the forum, covering cross-border data flows, tourism exchanges, and joint financial initiatives. The 4-day event, themed Asia in the Changing World, Towards a Shared Future, has drawn more than 2,000 leaders from over 60 countries to discuss challenges spanning artificial intelligence governance to globalization reforms. Meanwhile, 2 flagship reports released earlier today by BFA Secretary-General Zhang Jun projected Asia's economy to grow 4.5% in 2025, cementing its role as the anchor of global growth. Kun Ting-yang, Cable News.
Pet parents can soon enjoy riding on light rail trains with their furry friends during weekends and public holidays, with a monthly pass starting May 1st, thanks to the MTR Corporation being the first to trial pet-friendly policies.
The 2-month cat-dog caring trial scheme allows each pet owner to place 1 pet in a designated pet carrier or backpack aboard light rail trains that serve the northwestern New Territories. Large cats and dogs are temporarily not covered in the pilot, as the pet carrier only allows the combined dimensions of 170 centimeters and less. The cat-dog carrying pass, costing $99 for unlimited rides within a month, will be available for purchase starting April 11th. After showing the pass to MTR staff, pet owners need to board or get off from the last train door of the light rail car. Throughout the journey, their pass must be kept in the bags. How to make sure the pass will be willing to stay in the bags? In addition to an appropriate container with good ventilation and big enough size for pets to turn around, Lily Leung, Senior Behavioral Support Technician of the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, shared more tips.
We have to introduce the bag to the pet in advance, so advise the pet owner to do more introduction exercise at home so that your pet like or even love staying in the bag.
Shares in Hong Kong tumbled, with the Hang Seng Index sank below the 23,500 mark. After opening down 262 points, the benchmark index extended its losses to almost 600 points, dragged by technology stocks. At close, Hang Seng Index dropped 561 points, or 2.3%, to end at 23,344 points. Market turnover reached $285.2 billion. Multiple tech heavyweights saw their stocks diving. Xiaomi announced a top-up placing at a 6.6% discount, raising net proceeds of $42.5 billion, with its stock plummeting 6.3% at close. Chairman of Alibaba Zhou Cai remarked on signs of a bubble in AI data center construction, leading to declines in related stocks. Alibaba sank below $130. BYD dived below $400 despite reporting a record revenue of 777.1 billion yuan for 2024, eclipsing Tesla's revenue for the first time since 2018, while XPeng plunged over 7%. Despite soaring results, Sunny Optical and BYD Electronics both slid more than 11% at one point and ended down 10% and 9% respectively. Onto the weather now. It will be mainly fine, with a minimum temperature of around 21 degrees and a relatively low visibility in some areas tomorrow morning. Hot during the day with a maximum temperature of about 28 degrees in the urban area, and a couple of degrees higher in the New Territories. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.